Well, what is going on, freelancers? This is Chino and welcome to another Anthem video. Today we'll be discussing the Anthem combat system and in particular the 5 elemental components that break up this system. We're going to be discussing what enemies these elements are strong and weak against, the debuffs that these elements actually incur, and we're also going to link up each Javelin's abilities to their corresponding element and talk about the combo bonus that each Javelin brings to the table. Hopefully this information will clear up any confusion out there about the elemental components to the combat system, or at least give some clearer insight as to how it all functions together. Now let's jump straight into it. There are 5 elemental components that abilities are divided into. There's fire, acid, electric, ice, and impact blast. Credit to FireDragon04 on Twitter for the information table that you see in front of you. It shows all abilities as they sit before launch and which element that they correspond to. On your enemies, there are 3 kinds of bars that you need to worry about while you're taking them down. The first is basic, it's HP. We all know how this works. That's the red bar, and when this reaches 0, typically your opponent dies. The other 2 are protection types, armor and shields. Now there's been a lot of confusion as to which term actually means which, and this can be attributed to the fact that there was some messy and in fact incorrect wording around these terms, particularly on some gear and components over the demo weekends. Now the devs have actually confirmed that these are simply bugs that are yet to be ironed out before launch, and that the error was not in the actual allocated stats on the gear itself, but just in the wording of the bonuses. Going back to our enemy bars, and we are left with a yellow and a blue bar. The yellow bar is armor and the blue, just like on our javelins, is a shield. While there are 5 elemental components, only 4 of them will affect certain protection types, and you can kind of view impact and blast damage as a neutral damage. I like to think of it as a simple physical damage. This has no negative or positive effects on your enemies. So the other 4 elements are broken up like this. We have fire and acid, which are strong against armor, and we have electric and ice, which are strong against shields. Now each of these is weaker against the versa, so what I mean by that is fire and acid is actually weak against shields, and electric and ice is weak against armor. On top of their strengths and their weaknesses against their certain defensive types, they also incur an effect on your target that should be utilized accordingly. Starting off with fire, it gives a burning effect which inflicts a damage over time debuff on enemies, and that's for a short while after impact. Acid inflicts a defensive debuff, causing your target to take more damage while the effect is in place. Ice has the ability to freeze enemies, and electricity chains to surrounding enemies for an area of effect type damage. The correct utilization of this information is likely to be paramount when creating endgame builds. For example, when using the Storm, if you equip an item that raises melee damage, you will get a damage bonus here, but if you opted instead for something with fire damage, your damage bonuses would apply to all of these areas here. Now let's talk about combos and combo bonuses. Each ability can be categorized as either a primer, detonator, or neither. On the table once again you can see these icons clearly marked, and each javelin has a unique combo bonus. The ranger has critical target damage, large damage to detonated enemy. Colossus, area of effect explosion, explosion which damages nearby enemies. Storm, area of effect spread, spreads the elemental effect to nearby enemies. And Interceptor, enemies near you gain the elemental effect over time. So the Interceptor and the Storm are fairly similar in spreading the elemental status effects to enemies, but the difference between them is the Interceptor spreads through an aura and the Storm has the effect automatically spread from the enemy location. Then you have the Colossus, which causes AoE damage from the combo target area, and the Ranger causes larger damage to the combo target. You can see here that the Ranger definitely stands out as unique because it's the only Javelin that has single target bonuses bonus here. This also attributes to it truly being the highest single target DPS Javelin in the game. The Ranger is also unique here if you have a look at the table, because it's not only the Javelin with highest single target DPS, but it's the only Javelin with a primer for a melee ability. This brings some really interesting concepts to mind about how to play the Ranger, and specifically setting up combinations in a team combat scenario. So there you have it, freelancers. This has been a simple guide for the elemental components of the Anthem combat system. Like I said earlier, I hope this information will clear up any confusion that you may have, or at least provide some further insight as to exactly what it all means. I hope you enjoyed today's video, or at least that it was helpful in some way, and if it was, I would very much appreciate a thumbs up. It means a lot to me and the channel. Click on subscribe if you wish to see more of my Anthem content going forward, and for notifications when new content hits the channel, click on the bell icon. Well, it's getting a lot closer now. Let me know in the comments if there's anything Anthem related in particular that you would like me to cover or create a guide around. Less than a week until early access. I can really feel the excitement, and I can feel the excitement in the community. I do miss this feeling a lot. Let me know as well if you are playing on PC, Xbox or PS4. Are you excited for guilds hitting the game in March? Maybe we should start recruiting. Jeez, I didn't think about that. Should we start recruiting for a guild this early? Is it too early? I don't really know. Let me know if you're interested in doing so. Maybe we can get an endgame guild happening, because I really want to be around players who want to push endgame as hard as possible. Anyway, that's going to do it for me today. Thanks so much for watching once again, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.